I'm sure everyone who plays in Minecraft in one way or another wants to make the game easier. So in this video, I will tell you about 25 life hacks in Minecraft, which will simplify your life. Perhaps when you go digging in the caves, you are tired of throwing out unnecessary blocks from the inventory, which just clog up the space and do not allow you to pick up valuable resources. To do this, just before going to the cave, fill the slots in your inventory with the necessary items so that you can pick up only those items that you need. How often do you create an iron golem? I'm sure not very often, but even so, I'm sure you wouldn't want to spend iron to create a new golem if the old golem dies. You can just repair the golem with an iron ingot. It's much more profitable than creating a new golem. I think you know that caves are pretty dark, so you should carry a couple of torches to light up the darkness. But have you paid attention to how you put the torches? If you put the torches on the floor, then you are making a big mistake, because you can break a random block of stone at any time, and behind it will be a source of water, which will very quickly break your torches. I'm sure running to collect and put back these torches will not be the most pleasant thing to do. Instead of putting the torches on the floor, it is best to place the torches on the walls of the cave so the water will not be able to break your torches. How do you chop trees? If you start chopping trees at the lowest block, you should stop doing it. It is better to start chopping trees from the second block and then jump on the first block to reach the blocks that are higher. What do you think is the most impassable obstacle for mobs? A fence? Or maybe a high wall of blocks? Actually, no. Ordinary rails are an impassable obstacle for both friendly mobs and hostile ones. None of them will be able to cross the rails. However, it is worth considering that sometimes the mobs can still pass through the rails, especially those in the corners. So, it is best to use some other blocks. Additionally, you can use sweetberry bushes instead of rails. Mobs will also not go through them because they inflict damage. It can even be called a kind of instinct of self-preservation. I'm sure everyone knows that if you jump from a great height, you can, at the last moment, pour water under you and not get damaged from the fall. Unfortunately, this trick does not work in the Nether. But there is a solution. You can use a powder snow bucket instead of a water bucket. It also cancels the damage from the fall, or you can extinguish yourself in case of burning. There is one disadvantage. The snow will disappear after using it. How often do you trade with villagers? I'm sure, often enough. But did you know that if you infect a villager with a zombie and then cure them with a potion of weakness and a golden apple, the villager will buy and sell things at a significant discount? There's a very important point to note. If you plan to infect the villager, it's best to do it on the maximum level of difficulty, because only at this level is there a 100% chance that the villager will turn into a zombie villager. On easier levels of difficulty, the villager will simply die from the zombies. I think it would be very frustrating to lose a trader because of such a small thing. Did you know that a berry bush, when dropped just like water, cancels out the damage from falling? If only one downside, you can only plant berries on the dirt and grass. Maybe this will come in handy for someone in the early stages of the game before crafting a bucket. Did you know that you can put the head of a mob or player on a villager? That's right, not only piglins are able to put on heads, but also villagers. It not only looks very funny, but also allows you to decorate your villagers and make them more individual and distinctive from the rest of the villagers. I'm sure you will find a use for it. Have you tried to move a villager from one place to another? I'm sure you've spent a lot of time and nerves on it because villagers like to run off in different directions. Unlike animals, villagers unfortunately cannot be tied to a leash, so moving the villager is very time-consuming. You can lay a path of rails or drag the villager in a boat, but there is a much easier and faster option: trading. You can make the villagers follow you by opening the trade menu and stepping back, so you can bring the villager to the desired location without any problems. How often have you been exploded by creepers? I'm sure that every player has faced this at least once. But did you know that you can reduce the damage received from the creeper if you put a couple of blocks in front of the creeper before the explosion? Then you will get much less damage. This is a very useful technique. The main thing is to have time to put the blocks before the creeper explodes. How often do you make a map of your base? This is for those who like to do it. If you place a banner in some place and click on it with a map in your hands, you will set a mark on this place where the banner is. You can also rename the banner, and it will also be visible on the map. In this way, you can give the designation of some important places on the map. I'm sure farming the skulls of wither skeletons is not the most fun thing to do, as the chance of dropping a head is very low, and you have to spend a huge amount of time on it. But what if I told you that you can collect a large number of heads at one time? To do this, you will need to bring enough wither skeletons into the normal world and then explode them with a charged creeper. This way, you can get more heads at once to summon the wither. How do you collect your grown crops? I'm sure most players don't hesitate to break grown crops with their usual hand. But, in fact, it's much more profitable to break crops with tools that are enchanted with Fortune 3. Thanks to this, you will get a greater amount of drops from one grown crop. What's also very nice is that collecting crops with tools does not break their durability. So, the next time you are on your farm, harvest the crops with your pickaxe with Fortune. I'm sure you know that you can dye leather armor, but did you know that you can also dye leather horse armor? Just put your horse armor in a crafting table, and next to the dye you need, you will get a colored horse armor. Have you ever been traveling a long distance and you run out of food? The only thing that comes to mind is to get meat from the nearest animals. But do not rush to get meat with a sword. For this, it is best to use flint and steel. Just set fire to a cow or a pig and you can get cooked meat, which will not need roasting in the furnace. How do you kill blazes? Getting blaze rods is dangerous because they can easily hit you from far away, and there's a good chance that you'll get hit while you're running to the blaze. But did you know that you can kill blazes with snowballs? All it takes is 7 snowballs to defeat a blaze and take its rods. Have you ever had a situation where you accidentally looked at an Enderman and now he's running straight towards you, but you don't want or aren't ready for a fight? Well, you can easily protect yourself if you set up a boat and make the Enderman sit in it. That way, he can't attack you and can't get out of the boat, and you can easily kill him. What do you know about hotkeys in Minecraft? I'm sure many people know that when you are in creative, you can click the mouse wheel on a block and you get a copy of this block directly into your hands. But what if I told you that this feature works not only in creative but also in survival mode? Only it works this way. If you click the mouse wheel on the selected block, you will get this block into your hands, provided that this item is in your inventory. In fact, this is very helpful in building, which uses a large number of different blocks. Did you know that you can make an infinite number of water sources with just one bucket of water? For this, you need a cauldron and a couple of empty bottles. Pour one source of water nearby, then fill the bottles with water and pour it into the cauldron. Afterward, take the water from the cauldron with a bucket, and that's it. You've got another bucket of water. How often do you use the stone cutter? I'm sure that after I tell you this, you'll start using it more often. You can create more stairs from a stack of blocks with a stone cutter than you can with a workbench. With a stone cutter, you'll get 64 stairs from a stack of blocks, while a workbench gives you a much smaller number of blocks. Next time, try to use a stone cutter for more efficiency. How often do you use rails? I'm sure you know that you need to use powered rails to travel efficiently on rails. But if you compare the crafting of these rails with the regular rails, they are a bit more expensive. In the early stages of the game, you may not have so many resources. However, you can easily travel even on the regular rails at maximum speed. To do this, you need to put a pig in a minecart and then start moving. You will ride as if you are on a road full of powered rails. Did you know that during a raid on the village, clicking on the bell will illuminate all the attacking mobs? This can make it easier to detect all the enemies and get rid of them faster. What's very interesting is that the bell can illuminate pillagers not only during a raid in the village, but also in any place. Just set up the bell and click, and you will see them all. Did you know that if you jump while running through a tunnel 2 blocks high, your speed will be much faster? But did you know that you can also increase the speed of climbing up the stairs? If you run up the stairs and start pressing the jump button, you will also increase the speed of climbing. Previously, hoes in Minecraft were not very useful tools. For the most part, they were used exclusively for creating farmlands. But now in Minecraft, hoes have become very strong tools that are able to not only perform their primary duties, but also able to break with greater speed quite a large number of different blocks, such as leaves, hay bale, skulk shrieker, and many other blocks that you can see on the screen. This is the end of my video on life hacks and useful tricks. Write in the comments how many life hacks from the video you knew. Also put likes and subscribe to the channel if you liked the video. See you later!